Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. Happy Monday, my friends. It is the beginning of December here. What do we got? The 4th. And oh my gosh, it's almost the end of the year. And it's going to be the beginning of a brand new year for all of us. And wow, what a perfect time to be planning and thinking about what we are going to do with this next season of our lives. Today, we're going to be talking about how someone has had a mindset makeover because she has turned years of self-doubt into digital success. Let's jump right into this all the way from Australia, 2 a.m. in the morning. Ginger, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dave. It's great to be here.
Oh, thank you for joining us at such a wee hour of the night or morning. What part of Australia are you calling in from?
I am down in Melbourne, so the south of Australia. 2 a.m. here. Kids are in bed, which is really nice. So I actually have a bit of time without them running around, which is actually the perfect time.
Okay, well, great. I'm so glad to hear that. I am thrilled to hear that you think it's a perfect time, because it's always a perfect time for me. So tell us, Ginger, what brought you to Legendary? Tell us what you were looking for. Have you found what you were looking for? How did you get here?
Yeah. So I guess it was in 2022. I was on maternity leave with my second daughter, and I was at the point where I had to kind of go back to work and decide what I was going to do with my life. I'm a teacher, a primary school teacher, so it was a kind of weird time because it was the end of 2022, and in Australia we have a big 6-week holiday, and then it starts the new year. So it's kind of an awkward time to have to go back to work. And I was like, I just don't want to go back to work. I've got 2 kids. All I wanted to do was spend time with them. So I started searching for things to do online, and kind of tried to put the pieces together. Found it very, very confusing. I was looking into all these different side hustles. I put my name down to be a tutor because I'm a teacher. So I thought that was a good kind of avenue to go. And then, it got to crunch time, and I had to go back and be a teacher for the end of last year. And then had to send my daughter to daycare at 8 months, and that was really heartbreaking. And it was one of the worst feelings to have to drop her off at daycare when she was still so young. Luckily, with my first daughter, I got to have a full year with her, so it was a bit different. And it was also COVID then, so it was a bit nicer. I had lots of time with her at home. And then, I sent her to daycare and spent a lot of time trying to figure out what I was going to do in terms of how I was going to make money, and then ended up going back as a teacher full part-time the following year. So this year, at the start of this year, and was hating it pretty much. I just didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be teaching other people's other kids. I wanted to be at home with my kids, and I wanted to find something that I could do from home to spend more quality time with my family. And then, so my kind of goal was, I'd spoken to so many people in my kind of network they felt the same thing. They were all mums or dads, and they just wanted to find a way where they could make money from home or find an extra income stream. So I started this funny little blog when I was teaching that just kind of like reviewed these different side hustles that I was trying, and that kind of led me into finding affiliate marketing as a side hustle, because it was, you could put your affiliate links for different products, and I wanted to kind of discuss the things that I liked as a mum and blah, blah, blah. And then I stumbled across Legendary through someone on I think it was on Instagram or something, and then ended up not really. To be honest, because I'm in Australia, things in America for us, you do look at them and you're like, oh, I'm really skeptical. I think this is a scam because I just don't believe what's on the internet. And so it took me months to kind of delve in and finally do it. And I started in the affiliate marketing space mid-year probably, and then didn't start I did the 15-day challenge, loved the 15-day challenge, but still wasn't convinced that it was all like a real thing that you could start, making an income off it. So I did a few other things, and then it wasn't until September that I kind of decided, okay, I'm going to do it. And that's when I delved into being an affiliate for Legendary. And yes, I feel like I've found what I was looking for.
Wow. Great story. Yeah. So where is the mindset piece for you? Why is mindset so important? And what does mindset work mean to you? Can you give us the specific journey with you working on your mindset, as well as identifying what your particular limiting beliefs were?
Yep, absolutely. So I guess I've always growing up, I was kind of taught that I had to go, and I kind of grew up in a middle class family. You go to school, you get good grades, you go to university, which is what I did. I did it all. And I always just thought that was the only way. You had to get a job in a stable industry, and you had to, that was the only way to live. It was like when I found the online world and affiliate marketing and digital marketing, it's like this hidden gem that had been sitting there this whole time, and I just hadn't been aware of it. So I guess growing up, I was always kind of taught. I did a lot of sport growing up, and I everything that I tried, I would always kind of get met with, that limit. I was never good enough. So I would quit. And that was just, I don't know, that's just the way that I lived my life. And so I guess from a young age, I'd kind of thought, I'm not good enough. I'm not enough. I'm never going to be good enough. So I'll just give up. And I started, I've had so many business ideas and so many things that I've tried in my life, but I've always given up because I've never just pushed through, even when things are hard. And it's not until this year that I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, as suggested by you, and that just opened up my mind to so many other things. And I've just been on this personal growth, self-development kind of journey this entire year, and it's been wonderful, and it's been so eye-opening, and so many different things that I do now. And I've pushed through all those hard kind of hiccups that have happened along the way. When things are really tough, I've still just kept going, even if it's just 1%, just trying to do one little thing each day. So my mindset is now there's no giving up. Like, I'm not going to ever.
Now, so what I'm hearing is that this journey has been about more than just making money for you. That's obviously part of the mission here, is that, and I heard that loud and clear. You don't want to go back and teach other kids and raise other kids. You want to raise your kids, and that's okay. There's all you teachers out there who feel some shame about that. I just invite you to let that go, right? Because you teachers, you nurses, all of you people who have served our communities, even just for a day, even just for a week, even just for a month, even just for a year, you have done something incredible. You have done something for our communities, for our world, that is the most important job that anyone can do, besides raising your own kids. That's the most important. So I heard that loud and clear. You want to raise your own kids. I love that for you. And I invite all teachers, nurses, anyone who is in a service-based job where you are serving other people, other people's families, to let the shame go and let the guilt go that you are giving up on people, or you are giving up on kids, or you are giving up on patients, for you to begin to put yourself and your family first.
Yeah,
It's okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
So do you want to touch on that? Do you want to say anything about that? Because I do want to talk about the giving up journey and the mindset journey, but does that resonate with you? And do you
Absolutely.
yeah?
Yeah. And I just feel like, I don't know, I guess through COVID and everything, we gave so much as teachers.
Yeah.
And you just, I feel like, I don't know, you don't, obviously you're going to get a lot back from your kids, but you never get the same back from someone else's kids and someone else and the families that you're dealing with. And yeah, I think it is a really important thing to realize that, you know, there's a job, and then there's family, and then there's your life. So prioritize what it is that you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrea says, I'm tearful over here. Nurse who has felt guilty about wanting to get out of the field for the last 5 years. Hey, it's understandable. Why do you feel guilt? Because you're a good person. That's why, you know,
Yeah.
and it's a conflict, because you're right. It's a thankless job. You know, it really is. And I know that because I've been a student, and I never went back to thank my teachers. Okay.
No,
And the only thing
some do.
that doesn't mean that good. Some do. Great.
Yeah.
Most don't.
Yeah.
And so there has to be you know, you go in, it's a thankless job, just like a server. Most jobs are thankless. It's okay. It's not that teachers are victims. Nurses, the same thing. My father was in the hospital for 77 days this year. The nurses saved his life. The doctor saved his life. We have yet to go back to the hospital. We need to go back. I want him to go back, but I mean, he was out of it, you know, the majority of the time. You know, so he doesn't remember a whole lot, but just life happens, and you just don't go back. I have it on my to-do list to I have something special that I'm going to do for them, but it's getting around to doing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And going and saying that thank you. And so prioritizing our families is so important. And also what you said about you're never going to get the payoff that you do. You're right. It is a job. And so, you know, that's what makes it so difficult, is we combine the emotions with the job, and
Yeah.
you know, so a lot of times we stay too long, or we continue to sacrifice our own wants and needs but we do that in jobs too, don't we, friends? It's not just teachers and nurses. It's all of us who are sacrificing in some way, shape, or form our own wants and needs to continue to serve somebody else's. And if we're not getting the appreciation and the flexibility and the freedom to be able to do both, then at a certain point you're going to hit a crossroads, or a cross in the road, where you're going to have to make a decision. Do I go right or left? The challenge is a lot of people stand still, right? And what is right or left? Left is, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to be grateful, and I'm going to make it work, right? The going right is, hey, I'm out of here. I got to go take care of me and my family for a little while and do something different. I think the challenge is when we sit in resentment and guilt for so long that it begins to eat at us. And I think then is when it really piles onto our self-doubt and damages our self-esteem and makes us miserable and affects every area of our lives. So back to your mindset piece and not giving up. So what I'm hearing is this is certainly about the money and you being there with your family, but this is also about, in a way, reclaiming who you have not been up until this point in your life, almost reparenting yourself as you're parenting your own kids, reparenting yourself at the same time through this hard, difficult, challenging journey of entrepreneurship. And by the way, friends, nobody said it was going to be easy. When you were watching the video to take the 15-day challenge, nowhere in that video did I say this is going to be easier than your job. This is going to be the easiest thing you ever do. No, this will be one of the hardest things you ever do. But in life, my experience is, Ginger, the harder it is, the better the payoff at the end. Does that resonate with you? Are you building true self-worth and self-esteem? And what else is this not giving up doing for you in your identity?
I just feel like it's a completely I just feel like a completely different person. Even my husband always says to me when he sees me, you know, I do have my down days where I'm like, I can't keep going, and he's like, you've got to keep going. You're doing this. You've started, and it's just, and he'll say to me, what are the two options? It's like, you give up or you keep going and you succeed. And it's just, I just feel like I've got so much more strength and confidence within myself that, you know, I will be able to, you know, make this work. And it's such a nice feeling, because for so long, I mean, at the smallest little thing, I would just give up. And I want this so bad, and I want to spend time with my kids, and I want to be able to give my husband some more freedom in terms of his work. He works really hard, and they're just my driving forces, you know. And once you have, I don't know, once I've had kids, I'll do anything now, anything. And putting myself out there was one of the hardest things that I've ever done. I'm quite an introvert. Before this, I didn't even use social media pretty much. And I didn't even like to put a photo up of myself. And now, you know, I put up photos and videos every day of myself doing things. So it's amazing what you will do to get to where you're meant to be. Yeah.
So let's talk about you kind of putting yourself out there and what that process has been like for you. So that's one of the big questions that a lot of people have when they come in is, you know, can I do this without putting my face out there? Can I do this without putting my face on video? And certainly there's ways. We break it down, and it's quite simple to understand the ways that you can do that. You know, you can go and you know, you can find yourself a pen name, right? And you can go to iStock photo and buy yourself a royalty-free image and create like a mascot, right? But it's really just right. But then you can't do any video. Everything has to be photos, right? So that's one thing that you have to understand if you want to try to do this without putting your face out there, is that you're also not going to be able to use your voice, and you're not going to be able to really use the verbal form of communication, which is one of the greatest bonding communication mechanisms that we have. I mean, it's hard to find an analogy for this, but because I mean, clearly people who are deaf can also bond, and people who are deaf can also have relationships. But the idea of talking to, the talking to somebody really forms a deep bond and helps them understand your story. And the other thing you can do is just have a generic page where you're just posting business quotes or business strategies or photos, and you see a lot of those out there. The Insta millionaire, the this that out on Instagram, out on TikTok, where they're just posting quotes and things of that nature. What did the conversation with yourself look like when you were making that decision to put yourself out there and to film videos? And how did you bring yourself to filming and posting that first one?
Oh, it was the funniest experience. I was lying in bed one morning and I'm like, stuff it. I'm just going to go do it. And I went out. It was before anyone was awake. So I'd been lying there pondering, can I do this? Can I do this? And it was hours that I was lying there, and I'm like, well, what do I have to lose? And I guess what I was most worried about was what other people were going to think and what other people were going to say, especially my friends and family. So I just didn't tell anyone, and it was just the easiest way. I told my husband, and that was it. And I just got up at whatever, before the kids were awake, came out onto the couch and recorded some silly video. And looking back on it now, it was absolutely cringy, disgusting. I don't even want to look at it, but I will, because it's good. It's good to reflect on what you've done. But I was just like, oh gosh, yeah, very embarrassing. But I did it, and it was just about starting. And once I'd started, it was easy. You're out there, you've done it. And yeah. I guess as a teacher, I was also very concerned about, will my students see me, or will parents see me? And again, I just decided it wasn't, my life is much more important than worrying about what other people think. My future is more important than that. So I just did it. And yeah, it's just been getting easier and easier. And I've, slowly been able to, become more of myself and hopefully show more of my personality.
Yeah. Well, we really, as humans, have this weird conundrum, because part of us thinks that what we do is going to be remembered forever, that it's going to go down in history. And we act as if the first video is the State of the Union address, or really any of our videos are going to be seen by everyone in the country and everyone in the world. And the truth is, even if we do have a video that goes viral, most people will forget about it within at least 24 hours, if not 24 minutes, or in some cases 24 seconds. But here's the real kicker, is that, do you know anything that your grandmother or great-grandmother did in her life, said? I mean, if you were told one story, if you have one or two memories, you're lucky. You're lucky to know that. And even though there's the internet here, and you might think, well, Dave, I can poke holes in that theory because what's on the internet's going to be around forever. The truth of the matter is, the internet is such a big place. It is such by within 100 years, there's a good chance that Facebook won't even be here anymore. There's a good chance that TikTok's not even going to be. I mean, think about MySpace. Remember when, I don't know if you ever had MySpace. Yeah. Okay, you did. Okay, great. Yeah. So that was a worldwide thing. I can remember sitting there when I was, I had just gotten clean. I was 24 years old. I was messing around on the internet. It was before I got into internet marketing, and I was building my MySpace page to be so perfect. I just was like, oh my God, this is just, this has got to be, who am I going to put in my top friends, and what's the design, the music I'm going to use on my page? Now who cares about Face or MySpace? Nobody even goes to the site. The site's not even up anymore, right? So the truth is that what we're doing, although we are legends in our own minds, right? The truth is, the way that we're living for other people and putting so much emphasis on what they care about, not only do they not care and are they not going to remember anything that you did, your own family, your own kids, your own actual blood is probably not going to know what you said, or even care. I said it, even care what you said. It's just not there. When their time comes to live their life, they're going to be living their life. So it really poses the question, why am I not squeezing every drop out of every bit of opportunity that I can take advantage of in this lifetime, in this day, to make money, to live my best life? What is it? Is it, and you said it, it's caring about what other people think. And it doesn't matter, friends, what kind of business you're starting. It's not just online marketing. It's not just affiliate marketing. No matter what you do in life, you are going to hold back because you care what other people think. It's not,
which is so ridiculous.
it's everything. It's everything. And it's a powerful question. What would my life look like if I stopped caring so much what other people thought and only started to base what I do based on what I think about myself? And if it makes me happy, and if it makes me fulfilled, and I'm excited about it. And I think this is part of the breakthrough, kind of like you had the breakthrough about not quitting. This is also, and I think that can be a breakthrough for a lot of people. Stop quitting so easy in life. That's not just for you, although you were vulnerable and honest enough to share it with us today. It's also the living a mediocre, half-lived life because we put so much importance on what other people think that we hold back and live a mediocre, half-lived life. And it just feels good when you stop giving a damn and hit post, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been one of the best things. And since not telling all my friends and family, a few of my videos that went quite viral were noticed by some of my friends, and they've come to me and they've said things like, "Oh, I saw you on TikTok." And prior to this, I'd never been on TikTok. I didn't even know how TikTok worked. And they're the only two friends that I know that would ever go on TikTok, and they saw me, and they don't care. They're like, "That's awesome. Well done." Yeah. So
the majority of the time we future trip and project, because I was just talking to a buddy on the phone, and he made a great point that our brains are programmed to run through simulations, particularly negative ones, because back thousands of years ago, we did need to run multiple simulations in our brain as we were walking across a field and we saw a saber-toothed tiger over there, and we said, "Ooh, if I walk over there, then I'm going to maybe be eaten or mauled. Or if I go through that part of the forest, I'm maybe going to get murdered by that other crazy tribe over there." Or, that was the way that we survived. But nowadays, we act as if our brains are still programmed to keep us safe from dying, even when we go to film a video and post it on Facebook. It's the same brain, but a totally different way of living and application, that we still have this sort of, we're running all these different simulations about what could possibly happen. Oh, well, they could laugh at me. They could think I'm an idiot. They could think I'm stupid. I could then die, at least die an emotional and mental death. But right, we go through all these negative simulations about what could possibly happen, when the truth of the matter is, as I was saying a second ago, nobody gives a damn.
Absolutely.
It's humbling too to realize that you're really not that important as you think.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you all think that the minute I post something on the internet, everybody's going to stop and begin to critique my dress like I'm, some Hollywood star on the red carpet, and they're going to be picking apart my outfit. Nobody cares. I have worn this. I used to get all dressed up and ready to film videos because I was trying to compensate for just feelings of inadequacy. I thought I needed to look a certain way and be a certain way and all this. And ever since I've been doing Wake Up Legendary here, and our company's completely soared, I've worn the same thing every day.
Makes it easier.
And it does make it easier. I pick a shirt up off the floor, smell it, see if it still smells good, and then I put it on. Who cares? Nobody knows. Nobody. Somebody said, I'm afraid of judgment because I'm overweight. I've got a full face. But look at me. I mean, I just turned 40. I wasn't always this gray. I wasn't always this pale. I swear there was a time in my life that I had a tan. Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, some will love you, some will hate you. The thing you need to be afraid of is people seeing you and feeling nothing. It's okay to invoke emotion, even if it's hate. We have to learn how to have a little bit of thick skin. So how have you dealt with some of the comments that have come in that were probably skeptical or negative towards you? Thankfully, the family and the friends didn't really care, and they were like, "That's cool."
No, yeah, that's
Dealt
cool.
with some
Yeah.
online hate, and did that trigger insecurity in you to contract and hide? And how did you overcome that to keep going?
Yeah, there's definitely been lots of hate. But I think what has made it easier to deal with is that I saw other people going through that as well. And I know that it's a normal thing. And if you put yourself out there online, of course, there's going to be trolls and there's going to be people that don't know what you're talking about. So, of course, they're going to call it a scam, or they're going to do, say unkind things. But I think because also, I'd seen that it was a something that happens to other people, I was okay with it. But I also think, my past self would never have just been able to deal with it. I just feel like all the self-help, personal development stuff that I've done this year has just really helped me break through and realize that I don't care what they say, and I know what's true and I know what's right, and I will just continue to go with what I believe.
Did you hear that, friends? All the self-development work. See, it really does have an impact. I'm going to throw this hat on. Read it carefully, everybody. Okay? Because it really is a choice to continue to just live an average, mediocre life, and being legendary, or whatever you want to call it, where you're stepping into your purpose and you're living your best life and you're doing what makes you happy and you're doing what you want to do, right? Instead of what you think other people will be okay with and not threatened by, right? When you start stepping into that purpose and that power, your best self, it really is a freeing feeling. And it's something that everybody deserves to feel. And even when you do have it, it doesn't mean that it doesn't slip away. It's a daily decision, because we are human beings. Our brains are programmed to run negative simulations, that to future trip, to catastrophize, to think about worst case scenarios. And so it is a daily, especially if, and think about this, Ginger, we've not only got millions, thousands, whatever of years of a brain that is programmed to think about worst case scenarios to keep us safe, but also we're now consciously growing up in a society that really raises factory workers, doesn't want people to be too bold, doesn't want people to be too courageous, doesn't want people to be too out of control, right? And really celebrates people who stand in line and be quiet and don't make that noise. And as a teacher, sorry, but sit at your desk and raise your hand, right? Be a good little boy, be a good little girl, get good grades, get a good job. Don't make too much noise. Don't cause any trouble, right? And so we are sort of trained to be hesitant, and we sort of tiptoe, especially in entrepreneurship. Now we want to start a business, but we just want to tiptoe in. We don't want to make any noise. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. We don't want to offend anybody, right? We don't want to offend anybody. We don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, right? Because with us going after our own dreams, I don't want to make you uncomfortable for not doing shit with your life, right? And so the truth is that I don't even care about what you're doing with your life, really. I just am afraid of you judging me for what I'm doing with my life, right? Because we can be self-absorbed like that. And there comes a time, I think, in every person's life, and unfortunately for a lot of us, it's too late. It's like when we're on our deathbed, and then you hear about people talking about the regrets that they have. I wish I would have lived, I wish I would have not cared what people thought. I wish I would have gone after the girl. I wish I would have, done this, done that. But if you're breathing, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this right now, man, do you have a gift? The gift is not that, you bought a course, now you're going to make $1 million. No, the gift is that this journey can turn you into the person that you want to be, your deepest desire of who you want to be, but you have to do the personal development work. So what does that look like? Is that going to seminars, and is that reading books and then just saying, I'm, there's a Lamborghini in my driveway. There's a Lamborghini in my driveway. There's a Lamborghini in my driveway. The law of attraction. I'm just going to attract this stuff through positive thinking. No, it's the hard ass work of pressing post and leaving the video up, even when you're afraid of judgment and you want to take it down. And instead of going over that and ruminating, or watching your video that you just recorded 50 times and critiquing the hell out of it until you hate yourself, it's just pressing post and thinking about the next one, right? What else has been an important factor in you developing this new identity for yourself? We touched on the pressing post and filming the videos. We touched on the, the not like caring what people think or over explaining to people what you're doing, which I love that for you, that you didn't go around to people and be like, okay, I'm here to explain what I'm doing, and in a way ask for your permission. What else rings a bell that has been important in this journey and that you're thankful that you did or are doing, and you would recommend somebody else give some thought to?
Well, definitely the 15-day business builder challenge. That was really, really eye-opening to just the whole world of digital marketing, affiliate marketing. And then I'm normally someone that reads a lot of just normal literature books. I love just a novel. And this year I think I've read one novel, and I've read all the rest of my books that I've read this year have been personal development books. So that has been a complete shift in my what I am consuming. I read before I go to bed, so it's always just something that I go to bed and I remember it. I also journal before I go to bed. I manifest. I write affirmations out. I try to manifest what I want to happen, and often it happens, which is the coolest thing. What else do I do? I always, I exercise a lot, so that kind of keeps my mind in shape. I try to meditate here and there, but not always. I'm not very good at keeping that one happening. What are some of the other things? I think the biggest shift has been that I want this, and I'm passionate about it, and I want to learn as much as I can. So I've always got my headphones in, listening to something, or learning something new, or talking to people about online about different things. I haven't met anyone in Melbourne yet that does affiliate marketing, unfortunately. But yeah, just constantly learning new things. And I think what happened was I got to a point after I did all my studies at university. I did a nursing degree first and then a teaching degree. So I was sick of learning, and I was sick of studying, and I just wasn't interested. So I was done. I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to learn again. And that's when I guess that's when I stopped growing as a person. And it took me probably 10 years to realize that. And then I found this space. I mean, I tried to start businesses, but didn't do any learning. I just tried it and hoped for the best. Whereas, it was just, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I'm going to, it's going to be, what makes me, So I made that conscious decision, and
I got to get,
haven't stopped.
I got to get multiple hats going here. The three. Man, that was powerful what you said about like learning so much and then not wanting to learn anymore, like just being done with learning. I wonder how many of us can relate to that. I know I can relate to that because school for me, like I hated school. School sucked in my eyes. And I'm a ninth grade dropout. I got so sick of it. I just didn't go back I didn't go to high school for God's sakes, if you can imagine. Um, because it was just like torture, you know? I mean, it was like, I think back and I think, and this is no offense to any of our wonderful teachers who are doing their best. They're just doing their best to work with what they got inside of a kind of a shitty system, but trying to mold hearts and minds of the young people. And obviously I was affected positively by my school experience, but I still didn't like it as I got older. And so what am I doing differently? Well, the first thing I'm doing is I'm happily with the funds able to put my children into Montessori school, which I love, because Montessori school allows the kids to kind of work in a way that works for them. They can do their work on the floor. They're not chained to a desk. And it's got just like they got feelings teachers. They got like, it's not just like, let's sit down and learn about some shit that you're never going to need for the rest of your life. It's learn some real skills, that are going to be useful to you. And quite frankly, my 7-year-old is more emotionally intelligent than I was at 24, and she's 7. Because of the way that they've taught her, combined with our influence on her to, you know, be, you know, to learn how to navigate situations and learn how to not quit. And that's also been influenced by her dance experience as well. The other things that I'm doing is I love that you said really realizing that one experience doesn't have to be the foundation for every experience that I have in life. And a lot of our learning experiences, we either are burned out from going to school or it just sucked and we hated it and we never want to go back. So we kind of come in, we buy a course, and then we wait for the magic to happen, but we don't actually go through the course. And I can't tell you how many people, from looking at the back end stats, buy the 15-day challenge and don't actually go through it. It is, you talk about disgusting. It is disgusting, right? And not disgusting because people are disgusting because we as a society are programmed to just buy something and then wait for the magic to happen instead of actually go through and mine the gold. You got to mine the gold. The gold's not going to come to you. But man, that is such a powerful awareness that you had about your school experience and having that sort of negative anchor or association with learning that you needed to detach from so you could have a new and different experience. And now look at you. I saw a couple of comments about if you had any books that you recommend that have been fun or influential. You mentioned Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Any other recommendations that you can remember?
Yeah, so I'm currently reading The Miracle Morning.
Hal
Elrod. Yep. And I've read his other book, The Miracle Equation. I love The Miracle Equation. What other books did I read?
You read Atomic Habits?
Atomic Habits, yep. And I've read Think and Grow Rich. That's another one. Classic. Yep. Straight Line Leadership. That's another good one.
Jeff Olson. I think that's Jeff Olson. Or is Straight Line the Wolf of Wall Street guy?
I don't know. I've actually got it right here. Hold on. It is Dusan. I don't know how to spell say his last name. Jukic. Okay.
Straight Line.
So Dusan. Yeah. That's another good one because I was very indecisive prior to this whole business venture.
Was that concept was becoming decisive and making decisions?
Yeah, and making straight line decisions rather than being you know, someone that just goes round and round and round and doesn't actually take action.
Oh,
Yeah,
hello. I think.
which was me.
Wow. Okay. Straight line. You got that book? Hold it up. I love that.
Oh, it's on
concept.
my Kindle.
Oh, it's on your Kindle. Okay. Straight line leadership.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's a
Hello.
really good one.
Can I get a me if in the comments you feel like maybe you could use that? For me, that was one of the things that I realized about myself was that I've worked on this for quite a few years of being more decisive. And man, is that an important leadership quality. He is so right. You are so on it about the importance of that. Even when we go out to dinner, and how it's like we can't make a decision about what's on the menu, or can't make a decision about where to go. Most things in life don't get done because of indecisiveness.
Yeah. And I think being a parent, you have to make decisions a lot more.
Yeah.
Because you're making decisions for other people.
Yeah.
But I was still, when it came to my life, I was still like, oh, I don't know what,
Totally.
you know, it was ridiculous. So
I mentioned that a second ago about the coming to that crossroads. If you're working somewhere and you're in a career, how many people just sit right at that crossroads and don't either commit and make a decision to say, hey, I'm going to work here and I'm going to be happy about it. I'm going to find gratitude. I'm going to find the silver lining. I'm just going to accept it and celebrate it and just own it, or I'm going to leave it. Most people sit in their shit for years. We do it with relationships. We do it with jobs, right? It's like a marriage. It's like I'm either going to accept this and be happy about it and accept the person for who they are and celebrate them and try to take ownership for my side of the street and try to, accept the parts that about who they are that I don't like. And I'm going to just celebrate the marriage and do everything that I can to try to serve the person and serve their needs, etc. Or I'm just going to go and make the decision to pursue happiness in another direction. How many people just sit in, and then of course we're shamed by saying that, well, the divorce rates are so high. Well, they probably should be. A lot of times we're in dysfunctional relationships that we should get out of, right? It's okay. We don't have to feel guilt and shame about that. The same way we don't have to feel guilt and shame about leaving a job, a career, or making any other decision about our lives. Because the truth is about making decisions. Here's the fun truth about making decisions is that you can always go back and say, you know what? I made a wrong decision. Like, I want to go back on that. I want to, just like with a video that I post, like I can post a video and maybe it sucks and I can say, well, I'm going to do it differently next time. Or I've had a lot of people who have left companies who ended up going back and saying, I thought the grass was greener on the other side. It was actually just artificial turf. We've had people leave here at Legendary with that same thing. They say, oh, well, I want to go explore. Okay. And then they come back. They say, hey, I miss my Legendary family. The challenge that we have, which creates the resentment and also the regret, is not making a decision. So I love that you touched on that book. What have you learned about yourself? If you could articulate it, how would you articulate this answer? I've learned about Ginger through this process blank.
I would say that I have learned that prior to starting this venture, I was lost and confused and didn't have any purpose apart from being a mum. I didn't feel like I was giving my all, and I was just leading a life of mediocrity. And I didn't realize that there was another way. I think that was the biggest learning, that I was taught a certain way, that I had to live a life as society tells us, to get a job and work a 9 to 5 for the rest of your life until you are old and you need to retire. And I watch my parents now who are just at retirement age, but they're a bit old now to do all the things that they want to do, and they didn't get the time because they were working so hard to make ends meet. And I think what I've learned is that there is another way. And we are so lucky to have the internet and to have these opportunities where we can, create our own online business. Like, our parents didn't have that opportunity. So, that was the way that you made money. And yeah, I guess that's my biggest learning, that there is something better out there and that I can do it.
If you were to go back at the beginning and give yourself, back however long ago you started, which was this year, right?
Yeah.
What advice would you give yourself? I mean, what would you say to yourself? Like, okay, I'm coming back from the future, 6 months or whatever it is, and I just want to drop this little nugget in your ear. What would you say to yourself?
I think that focus is the most important thing, and to not let outside noise, comparison, kind of guide you. I feel like there is a lot of noise in this space, and you can easily get swayed one way or another. And I feel like it took me a long time to kind of find my voice and who I was, because I was always comparing myself to other people. So that's a massive one. And I guess at the start of my journey, I wasn't focused on my mindset, and I wasn't doing all the things that I'm doing now, where, every night before I go to bed, I journal, and it just helps me kind of work through what I've done during the day, and sets me up for the next day, and sets me up for a good night's sleep, where I'm not, ruminating on everything that has happened throughout the day, and getting myself down. So I guess mindset and focus are the two kind of main things that I would suggest.
Yeah, I hear this beautiful self-care routine that you've also developed. Although it's about mindset, it's also about self-care. And self-care doesn't always have to look like going to the spa, getting a pedicure. And that's just not you, ladies. I mean,
That's not me.
I like to go to the spa. But I'm just saying, self-care, a lot of times when we hear that term thrown around, a lot of times some people interpret it as it has to be some form of relaxation, or it has to be some form of pampering. And while that is important, that can be important for women. It can make them feel more feminine. It can make them embrace their feminine energy. It's good for men. It makes them feel cared for and well-groomed, etc. It doesn't always have to be pampering and relaxation. Sometimes it can be about development. It can be about growth, and it's such a beautiful way to describe and embrace self-care, because what better way to care for yourself than to prioritize yourself, prioritize your family, upgrade your skills and knowledge, process feelings in healthy ways, like you're talking about with the journaling, put good stuff into your brain, like you're talking about with reading the personal development in business books, whereas you always used to read novels, and some people watch news. It's just such a beautiful reminder that self-care comes in different forms. And if you want to be successful in a business, then self-care has to include some form of development, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And they used to tell me that in recovery, still do. Hey, Dave, if you don't change, you're gonna probably, those who don't change and forget where they came from are doomed to repeat it. And so, this is beautiful and it's inspirational. And we're coming up on the top of the hour. Thank you for giving us an hour of your time at 2 a.m. at night. It's now 3
My
a.m.
pleasure.
Hopefully
Oh,
you're
wow.
going to be able to relax and get some sleep. I know for me, a lot of times I come off of these raring and ready to go. So good luck with that.
Might get some good work done. Who knows? Might
There
write
you
some
go.
emails.
There you go, Ginger. All right, my friend, come back, keep us posted on your journey. Congratulations
Will
on your
do.
success and your development. It's just wonderful to hear, and stay legendary, my friend.
Thanks, Dave. See you later.
See you. Bye-bye. All right, my friends, you can go and follow and find Ginger on TikTok at mama_hustle, MUMMA_hustle. Okay, over on Instagram, she is Make Money W Ginger for with. Make Money W Ginger, GINGER. Make Money W with Ginger. My friends, what a powerful episode and an amazing way to start our Monday for real. All of the shows lately have just been absolutely wonderful. If you want to find the replays, of course, you can find them right here on this Facebook page where we stream live every morning, every weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. You can just go back and watch any of the episodes that you want. Just scroll through this page. You can find all of them. We also upload them onto YouTube. So if you prefer, you can search either Legendary Marketer or David Sharpe. You can find our YouTube channel and watch them there. But you can also find them on all the major podcast platforms. Because all you go is go into your podcast app and search for Wake Up Legendary. And you'll find the podcast. We try to upload the audio same day. So if you want to listen to it while you're walking, working out, doing the dishes, sitting on the couch next to your spouse who's watching a show, you can do that. And it's just a powerful, wonderful way to access this life-changing content. And it is, as you're going through the challenge, as you're going through the blueprints, if you're going through those, if you're, coming off of an event or going to an event like we have coming up this weekend in Orlando, Florida, combine that with listening to these shows, because that curriculum is really powerful when combined with the application that our guests share on the show about how they're implementing those skills and the mindset stuff that they're doing, using, or needed to develop in order to be successful with those strategies. It really is a two-part piece. There's the mechanics, which we teach in the curriculum. There's the dynamics, which we teach in the curriculum, as Ginger said. But it's also another form of understanding the dynamics of being successful by listening to people's experience. What the hell did they have to overcome? What were their limiting beliefs? I mean, what were the beliefs that have been there from maybe early childhood that they realize, sheesh, that's not going to help me. That's not going to enable me to be successful. I need to let that go. That limiting belief around money, that limiting belief around being rich and wealthy, and or that limiting belief around, that it's more important what other people think than what I think of myself, right? Which we touched on so powerfully today. So thank you again, Ginger. Absolutely legendary show. Got the triple hat throw. And my friends, meet us back here tomorrow. Same place, same time for yet another powerful episode. Get out of here. Stay legendary. Peace.